I want to acknowledge the presence of our distinguished Governor General, Sir Tapley S.W. Seaton. Equally, I want to recognize the presence of the Honourable Senator, Mrs. Akila Byron Nisbet, the Financial Secretary, Ms. Hilary Hazel, Deputy Financial Secretary, Ms. Sylvia Gums, Permanent Secretary in the Office of the Prime Minister, Mr. Andrew Skerritt, the Controller of Customs and other senior officers of the government, and in particular, the Controller of Customs, Mr. Gerard Bell. Customs officers all, I want to acknowledge the presence also of former Controller of Customs, Mr. Donald Cable, and Mr. Rodney Harris, and other former high officials of that department, including Norman Williams, who are worshiping with us on this special occasion, marking the start of a week of activities in celebration of Customs Week 2017. Each year, our nation pauses at special moments to remember and to celebrate the significant contributions made by the many groups and organizations whose daily work positively impact the growth and development of our beloved country. Today, I am delighted to join the St. Kitts and Nevis Customs and Excise Department in the celebration of International Customs Day and to consider the significance of the theme chosen by the Brussels-based World Customs Organizations. And the theme is Data Analysis for Effective Border Management. Data generated through the functions of the Customs and Excise Department have been and continue to be instrumental in gauging the growth of both government and private sector activities in the Federation. Through its daily functions in trade facilitation, stakeholder compliance, border security, and yes, revenue collection, our Customs Department generates data that credibly assists our government in shaping key social, fiscal, and monetary policy decisions, as well as to monitor their effective implementation. Through customs data, the Ministry of Finance has been able to accurately highlight the amount of stimulus-generating concessions that have been granted by the government each year on the imports of raw materials and other imported business support items. Preliminary data for the year 2016 would reflect so far that the government has conceded just under $100 million in support by way of concessions to manufacturing and tourism sectors in particular. Of course, there are other entities which benefit from the concessions, and these are reflected in that grand total of 100,000. All international organizations, for example, would be part of the beneficiary group. Our churches would be part of the beneficiary group of the wide range of concessionary support which the government offers each year. And as the amount gets higher, it becomes even more significant and requires the government from year to year to consider the volume of concessions that it could afford. At our borders, custom data have been at the heart of the expeditious yet highly reliable processing of travelers and their baggage. While the number of visitors to our islands continues to grow and traffic increases at our borders, which are welcome signs of sustainable growth in our tourism sector. Customs-generated data continue to assist our planners in determining the adequacy and sustainability of our port facilities to accommodate such growing inflows in the medium to long term. Indeed, such data would have assisted us in making determinations whether or not a second cruise pair, for example, was feasible in the context of St. Kitts and Nevis. It was through careful analysis of customs data that customs management was able, in December in 2011, to implement new passenger processing measures at our airports. This has since allowed for safe yet faster processing of nationals and visitors upon arrival. The World Bank, in the December 2016 publication of its well-known Doing Business report, testified to the reliability of the customs data generated by our Customs and Excise Department when it ranked St. Kitts and Nevis as the 72nd best-ranked country in the world in trade facilitation. And while that ranking reflects 170 plus countries worldwide, in the context of CARICOM and Latin America and the Caribbean in particular, St. Kitts and Nevis Customs and Excise Department was ranked first in CARICOM, and for that they deserve a round of applause. And in the context of the 35 member countries or thereabouts that comprise Latin America and the Caribbean, our Customs Department has been ranked 7th, and that too deserves a round of applause. That says to us that in the context of our own Americas, our hemisphere, our Customs and Excise Department is among the best performing departments in the region. And I therefore congratulate the Controller and all those hard-working members, past and present, who led and whose continuing industry has helped us to achieve such a remarkable ranking. In evaluating the efficiency, the effectiveness of our Customs Department, the evaluators representing the World Bank would have done surveys on the satisfaction of local businesses, custom brokers, and other stakeholders in making that key evaluation. Our Customs and Excise Department must continue to demonstrate that sound data collection and analysis will always be the central focus of its reform efforts in the post-implementation phase of the Asikuda World Platform. This program has helped officers to speed up the time for processing the goods from ship to shelf in a more timely yet border secure manner. And so, while the projections of my government are that we shall attract greater investments in 2017 and beyond, that our local manufacturing sector will experience improvements in its contribution to GDP, and that our national policies will stimulate greater investor and consumer confidence, I am confident that the Customs Department is appropriately outfitted to facilitate this projected increased level of trading activity and to monitor its effectiveness in so doing. In everything we do, as we proclaim in our Constitution that we are a nation under God, we therefore pause to give thanks to the Almighty God at the start of Customs Week. And our presence here at this historic co-cathedral. It's not just part of a week of activities that marks the celebration of Customs Week. Rather, and perhaps more importantly, it is an act of sober reflection on how God has guided the plans and operations of the Customs and Excise Department and has allowed them to bring forth good fruit in each season. To God, therefore, we give the glory. And to you, Fathers George and Manuel, as well as all who are here worshiping today, on behalf of the Customs Department and more importantly, on behalf of the Team Unity Administration, I proffer our own appreciation for the warm reception that the Customs Department has received here today and for hosting us all in this solemn Eucharistic setting. Briefly, I reflect upon the upcoming week of activities and advise you to participate where you can in each and every one of the activities that have been slated for the week. On Monday, the 23rd January, the Customs officers will visit selected primary and secondary schools in the Federation to expose our young people to the wonderful opportunities that are found in custom work, and indeed to encourage some of them to pursue a career in this particular important activity. On Tuesday, I'm advised that the management team will meet with our farmers, our fishers, our agro-processors, and other stakeholders in the agricultural sector to discuss the readiness of our Customs and Excise Department to meet stakeholder expectations and to facilitate their imports and exports in accordance with the soon-to-be implemented Trade Facilitation Agreement of the World Trade Organization. That body, of course, is the international body that regulates and sets the standards for trading among countries. On Wednesday, January 25th, we will continue in the spirit of national unity to encourage closer cooperation between the officers of the St. Kitts Division and the Nevis Division of the Customs and Excise Department. To this end, selected officers on each island will on Wednesday work on the other side of the Narrows in our Customs Exchange Day. So you will have those from Nevis coming over and those from St. Kitts going over to the sister island of Nevis and to perform work and to develop through that good camaraderie among themselves. Thursday, January 26th is set as International Customs Day. On that day, the Customs and Excise Department has determined that it will be a good thing to honor 6 former customs officers in recognition of their years of exemplary service to the organization and to the nation. I ask in advance that we give those 6 a round of applause. The department will also, on that evening, host a panel discussion on national television, as I said, to invite and address the views and concerns of all the people. So if you have any query, any concern which you would want to hear and to have answers to, you wait, perhaps if you can, until Thursday, and you ask the question for all the world to hear and to hear the response from the panel. On Friday, January 27th, the doors of the Customs Department, both at Bird Rock and St. Kitts and Long Point and Nevis, will be opened to the public for an open day experience. And the Customs Department is inviting all of us to visit the department on that day to learn more about the customs operations. Hopefully all of us will not be going at the same time, so we could still clear some of our baggages. The week of activity climaxes on Saturday, January 28th, with a day of family fun and togetherness at the end of a week which commemorates the significant role of these officers to the continued progress of our nation. I am confident that this will be a meaningful week in the records of the Customs and Excise Department and for our beloved country. It will set the right tone for a successful year for all of us, and hopefully this year the Customs and Excise Department will bring more revenue to the National Treasury, because that is a critical yardstick by which we in finance evaluate their performance. And that is why it gives me great pleasure as the Prime Minister of the Federation, and perhaps more particularly as the Minister of Finance, to declare open Customs Week 2017 and to beseech God's blessings on every planned event in the calendar of activities. On behalf of the entire nation, I end by expressing gratitude. Gratitude for the work of the Customs Department across a variety of areas in national life, as border security, in fact assisting our police, our defense force, and other security agents in the maintenance of law and order through special assignments in which they are regularly engaged, by lending from time to time their canine support to our police and to our defense forces as they undertake good work on behalf of the peace and quiet of our beloved nation. I thank them for showing courtesy and care and attention in the exercise of this important work which they have to do. And again, may this 2017 Custom Week be among the most memorable that they experience. To God be the glory. I thank you all.